Well, that's us. That's another week. Here we go again. Great to have everybody with us as always. Welcome to Super League Raw Weekly. And as you can see, there is a new face in the crib, as they say, getting down with the kids. This is David, who runs something pretty similar from Just Rugby League, who thankfully did accept the invitation to come along. David, welcome to Super League Raw.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having us on, lads. It's a great privilege to come on and give you my thoughts and that of the Super League and that this season, hopefully.
Happy days. We'll forgive you that you're a Wiganer. We'll have a bit of sport.
Yeah.
Happy days. This could be fun. This could be fun. But no, mate, seriously, great to have you along. Thanks very much indeed for coming on. Really, really good. And this is, we said this last week, this is what myself and Greg really want to happen this year. We want to bring people in from different teams, get you on. You can talk about the week that is Rugby League, do the predictions on behalf of the fans forum, and basically for an hour just be the referee, if nothing else, between me and Greg for the night, which will be quite enjoyable for everybody.
This should be fun.
It should be fun. Yeah. Should be fun. So, lots to do. Obviously, round one. I don't know about you boys, but it's like Christmas Eve.
Oh, I can't wait.
Definitely.
I cannot wait.
It's this is, I think, the fourth. Is it the fourth one before the season starts, Greg? That we're doing now. Number 4. This 3 or 4. Yeah. Yeah, it's been building, and at last, we're just.
It's my daughter's 11th birthday on Thursday, and I've got to say everything ends at 7:30 on Thursday, love.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's disgraceful behaviour.
Dad, can I watch the second episode of Emmerdale on Thursday? What time's it on? 8 o'clock? No.
Yeah. No. Not happening.
Not a chance.
Not happening.
Not a chance.
So, what we're going to do, without further ado, let's take a look at a few bits. We just, as we normally do, picked a couple of bits that's going on in the world of rugby league. So let's take a quick look and see what is in the headlines this week. Making the news. We'll have a little chat around this. Toulouse Olympic. We haven't really spoke too much about Toulouse Olympic, but good news coming out of France today. We'll have a chat about that. Duchess of Cambridge has been announced as the new patron of the Rugby Football League. Those who keep an eye on our fans forum page on Facebook will have seen that announcement. We covered that earlier in the week. Channel 4, of course, finally confirmed the announcement of who's going to be on the Channel 4 on Saturday. And then finally, a little contentious one there, season ticket sales and Hull FC. That'll make a little bit more sense when we get to it. So first and foremost, let's take a look at just this bit around Toulouse Olympic. At the beginning of the week, it looked like 2 of their best players going into the season were not going to be lining up. Jonathan Ford had already announced that he was unwilling to take the vaccination and was going to be leaving Toulouse. And Greg, I'll let you say it. Mark
Corella.
Thank you. Mark Corella also, it was looking doubtful. However, today, hot off the press, he went to Instagram, and reading this, it suggests very strongly that actually, whether he's had the vaccination or not, I don't really know, but it's a very, very clear intimation there that he is going to be playing for Toulouse this year. So actually, going into their first game against Huddersfield, and I think we'd all agree that if Toulouse have got any ambition of staying in Super League, this is the type of game that they need to perform well in. This could be a big boost for him going into that game.
I think so, yeah. He's a good player. I think he's the kicker as well.
Yeah.
I think I watched the playoff that when I saw them a few times last season actually, but he's kind of reminds me of a Lachlan Coote kind of player, without the errors. Gonna say that. Can I say that?
Gonna be after you already.
What's your thoughts,
David?
Obviously with Jonathan Ford, I was really looking forward to seeing him come into it, and obviously into Super League after being there 10 years.
Yeah.
Wanted him to test how he was going to go in the Super League, but obviously you can't force people to have the vaccination. But yeah, and then Corella, yeah, he does look like a really good player for them. Had they lost him and Jonathan Ford, I think, you know what I mean, there were no really big step ups for them. standouts in that team who will. I don't know if is Tony G. Is it Tony Gigo? Is he still there?
Yeah.
He's still there. Yeah.
Obviously,
Gigo,
quite a high number
yeah.
in the squad, isn't he, Tony Geese?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
that's with 31 or 32.
Yeah, 31. Yeah. But,
Obviously, it's better if they had all three of them there, but obviously, yeah. You can't force people to have that vaccination.
No, and I think look at. I mean, I agree with you in terms of Ford, and to be fair, say it, Greg, Corella.
Just think of Corella Deville.
Yeah, good shout. But looking at those, obviously seeing what they did last season, etc., and the amount of years they put in to French Rugby League.
Yeah,
it'd have been
Corella's been there for 9 or 10 years as well.
9 years. Yeah, it'd be. He's got to go and test himself, hasn't he? He's got to go and test himself. It'd have been a travesty if he didn't. But we'll get a bit more into Toulouse when we actually get to the Huddersfield Toulouse preview bit. Duchess Cornwall, new patron,
fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic news for the sport. Obviously, joint with Union.
Yeah, you have something to say about that?
I do. When the announcement was made earlier this week, the BBC covered it and just showed Kate Middleton with the England Rugby Union players, and it was as if Rugby League was a kind of an add-on, which I thought was childish more than anything. You know, the two sports. She's patron of both sports. Fair play to Harry. I mean, when Harry was patron of Rugby League, he did actually try to sell the sport, and he didn't kind of not undersell it.
Yeah.
And I think Kate's she is a step up from Harry for obvious reasons over the past 12, 18 months. She's the future Queen of England, and she's patron of the Rugby League.
Yeah.
Now, if the Rugby League, as we were touched on before we kicked off the show, if the Rugby League can't use that as a genuinely positive piece of marketing, the future Queen of England, is a patron of Rugby League. Come on, lads, let's drive that message home, and let's get the marketing guys at the RFL working on that day and night to get those, hits on the internet to get the presence of the game around the. How many royalists are there in the country? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was saying this before we came on, wasn't I? Hello to Kevin the Green, who's watching. Hello, Kev. But yeah, I was saying this, before I came on. Today, I just basically typed into Google the word Duchess, and without putting anything else, all the photos with Catherine, all the news articles of Catherine, that's all that Google reports. So the Rugby Football League here have got to use it for marketing purposes, because if every time somebody puts in Duchess of Cambridge, Catherine, whatever, if that is associated with Rugby League, it can only increase the profile of Rugby League. What's your thoughts, Dave?
Yeah, obviously, I hope, like you said, the RFL will obviously market this pretty well. I've got to give a shout out to both of your teams, Warrington, for marketing. If they had that on their side, they'll hit nail on head every time, because your marketing is bang on. So I hope the RFL will take some tips off from Warrington and use it and push the club.
If we could play Rugby League on Twitter, we'd be champions every year, mate.
Well, definitely. It's interesting. Today on our Facebook page, Leeds are doing a light show now before the game. I know St. Helens have dabbled in it as well. But I have to say, though, I get your point. I think Warrington have took on the Bradford Bulls mantle on that. But if you're going to send Wolfie in a plane above St. Helens to say we're coming for you, you've got to win the game, haven't you? You can't just you can't just do that.
Same as throwing a pie in a bin at Wigan. I mean, that's sacrilege, isn't it? You know what I mean? You're
just
asking for a whooping.
Happy days. Right. The next bit. Outstanding. A little bit of skullduggery going on online in terms of the fact that Adam Mills plays for the PDRL at Warrington, which I thought he eloquently put right in the clip that we're about to show. But I think this could be an absolute game changer for Rugby League. I think it could be a breath of fresh air. For those of you who didn't see this this week, what we're going to do is just going to actually play you 2 minutes of Adam Hills being announced as the presenter of Channel 4 Rugby League. It really is a great clip. So here we go.
basis. But I would like to introduce our presenter for the Super League on Channel 4, Mr. Adam Hills.
Next to the trophy. Yeah, absolutely correct. When I was 3 days old, my dad came to the hospital with a red and green toy South Sydney Rabbit, and I've been a rugby league fan ever since. I played when I was a kid, as often as I could. I think when I was a kid, my dream was to be a professional rugby league player, and when I was about 12 or 13, I found out that's really hard when you've got one leg. So I drifted away from rugby league for a while, and it was only a few years ago that I found that Warrington was setting up England's first ever physical disability rugby league team, and I just jumped straight back into it with all the energy that I had, to the point where, like, I've stopped my comedy career. I've told my manager, like, comedy's on hold. I turned down an invitation to Prince Charles's 70th birthday at Buckingham Palace because we had training that night. Not even a game. And it wasn't because, it was because I would much rather go and train in Warrington in 4 degrees than go to Buckingham Palace. No one here is surprised by that, which I'm really appreciate. I'm so excited to be involved in this, and in no way I'm going to put myself forward as an expert. I'm surrounded by amazing people in front of the camera, but having met the producers today, they all love rugby league. Like, the first thing we did was not even chat technical stuff, we just chatted about which teams we love, which players we love, who we grew up supporting. So that passion is behind the camera. And I'm just going to try and convey it to the people at home that have never seen rugby league before. I'm hoping new people come on board. I love the sport, and for anyone, for the players, the coaches, if you see us on the sideline and you want to come over and have a chat after the game, just feel free. You don't need there is an open invitation. You're more than welcome to come and have a chat. So I'm really excited. I'm excited that Channel 4 are doing this, and you said the word a load of times, and it's the one thing that I've noticed here in the UK that's really special about rugby league. It's a family. So hopefully, the one thing I hope I can bring to it is to invite and join all the viewers into the rugby league family, the big, inclusive, dysfunctional, but wonderful rugby league family. So thank you for having me. I'm just, I'm a giddy fan. That's all I can say.
Outstanding, absolutely outstanding. Obviously, took that from for some unbeknown reason, only Leeds published that, which is a bit odd. But listening to him talk, I mean, he's coming at like what we do. He's coming at it from a fan's perspective. He's a fanatic. He's not a player, and I think that's where the whole of the Sky production team are pretty much ex-players that are in front of cameras. I think the fact that he's going to be on it, Helen Skelton's going to be on it, obviously her husband's Richie Myler. And let's be fair, he's got that bit about comedy, playing rugby with one leg's hard work, and he's going to bring a bit of humour to it as well. But please God, let Channel 4 do a good job of this.
Yeah. I'm part excited, part fearful.
Oh, don't be fearful. No. I'll
tell you why.
Go on.
I'm not. I'm excited because it's going to go out on on terrestrial TV for the first time in nearly 30 years.
Yeah.
I'm a bit fearful because I'm so wanting it to be a success on Channel 4.
Yeah.
But I do think Adam Hills and Helen Skelton, she's going to be pitch side, I think.
Yeah. She knows the game.
Yeah.
She knows the game.
Is it Danica Prim?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Leon,
Sam Tompkins, Leon Price, this Saturday, yeah.
Now, as much as Warrington fans, we might not have the same view as David on Sam Tompkins. Off the pitch, he talks well.
Yeah.
I'm picking my words very cleverly here. You've noticed. off the pitch, he talks well, and he's a good talker, and he comes across as a decent guy.
He's a rugby league player, though.
One thing for me is Mark Wilson as commentator. Oh, mate.
Yeah, they haven't announced that, have they? I've heard nothing else. Is it Mark Wilson comment? Oh,
yeah. Mark Wilson's got to be commentator. Yeah.
Have you heard him, Dave? You heard Mark Wilson at Premier Sports?
Yeah, little bits.
Boom.
It can't be any worse than what we have over at Sky.
Mate, he's quality. He's again like what you've just seen there. He's just dead passionate when he's commentating. He's not like monotone. You know, it's like we talked about NRL. The NRL commentators, you know, they're not monotone. They're up, they're down, they're getting. But that Mark Wilson's the closest I've seen over here in many a year. So that's good.
That was the bit. So maybe fearful wasn't the right word. Anxious that they do a good job. I so hope they do a good job.
Me too. What's your thoughts, Dave? Are you hoping that Wigan get a game at the minute? My understanding is it's Leeds, Warrington, and they've announced Saints Hull at the minute. I don't think they've announced anything else yet.
No, not yet. I can see. I think from what I read, I'm pretty sure I've seen that everybody's going to get a game on there. For sure. So that'd be good to showcase every team.
Yeah.
The Adam Mill, I think's a really good appointment for him though. That video there just showed his passion for rugby league. He's an Aussie in it as well, so and his passion not just for the NRL. I think he's got more passion for the Super League than he has. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good appointment, and obviously Leon Price and Sam Tompkins as well. It's nice to get players' point of view who's played in the modern era. Them lads who have played the last game in the early 2000s and the late 90s. So yeah, it'd be good to get a good point of view from seeing them and that. So yeah.
My wish on this, my absolute wish on this, which again Sky haven't got, and to be fair, neither of Premier Sports, Adam Hill will find his way onto things like Jonathan Ross, Graham Norton. He's got his own show. So we've got an opportunity, you know, if he actually goes on to those programs and starts talking about his anchor on Rugby League on Channel 4 and starts talking like he just did there about his passion for them. That story, I went training instead of going Charlie's birthday party. That's just quality. You can't buy that. You just can't buy that level of publicity. So yeah, fingers crossed. I think it looks good. Please God, let it be good. Please God.
Just to add to that, this week Rugby League's been handed two massive platforms to grow.
Absolutely.
The future Queen of England and Adam Hills. Yeah. I'm sure Adam Hills wouldn't like to be mentioned in the same breath as a future Queen of England, but no, we've got a media celebrity.
Yeah.
And we've got royalty.
Absolutely.
We've got to make this work now. There's no excuse for the sport not growing from this.
Absolutely agree.
As far as I'm concerned, anyway.
No, I completely agree with you, mate. Completely and utterly agree with you. Can't disagree with that. Where's the... So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at... Let me just get where we're up to. I'm just going to look at a couple of bits and pieces. I don't know why we've got...
What were you going to say about the whole season tickets, Dave?
Oh, God, yes. Well reminded. See, we're raw. We don't plan these things. Yes, the whole season tickets. So what that was all about, and again, I'm fearful. Now, I'm going to use your word here, Greg. I want to say the word fearful. I am genuinely fearful for Brett Hodgson because today, good news coming out of Castleford. Castleford have sold 8,500 season tickets. That's great news for Cass. Brilliant news for Cass. However, in Hull, they've sold 6,500, which is 3,000 down on the prior year. And today their chairman came out and said it's a little bit of an ageing population and the brand of rugby they played last year. In my world, that suggests that Hodgson's got about 4 or 5 games.
Yeah. Well, you might not be too far off the mark there, mate.
Because he's got form, hasn't he? With Radford, he's got form, hasn't he? So I'd be worried there.
Yeah, the way they treated Radford was shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's under pressure. And it's wrong to put a guy under pressure before there's even been a try scored in the new season. Yeah,
and with the injuries they've got going into the season, you know, some key players going to be missing. And of course, the risk of, again, we'll talk about this when we get to the preview, but, you know, Luke Gale, we know, is injury prone.
Yes.
Deary me. That is, as soon as I read it, I thought, oh, God, you wouldn't want to be Brett Hodgson there. You really wouldn't. You know?
No, definitely not.
Shocking. But anyway, we'll see. Right. Before we get into predictions.
Yeah, can I
go on, mate?
Again, something I banged on about a few weeks ago when Greg Eden was banned for 3 games for throwing a punch. Blake Austin is going to miss the season opener.
Yeah.
He got a 1-game ban for something that happened in a friendly.
Yeah. Missed opportunity again.
Well,
Because all the marketing has been Austin going back against Warrington. I agree.
The thing that I'm annoyed at here is that teams are going to stop playing friendlies. If players are going to get bans for when they're playing in friendlies, they're going to stop playing in friendlies. And then the conversation we had last week, all about player welfare and not being fit for the start of the season. We don't have enough friendlies as it is. When you look at football and other sports, they go on tours to play games. They've got 3 or 4, 5, 6 friendlies before the season starts. Warrington have had 2. One of those was the kids. I don't know how many friendlies have Wigan had.
They've had a couple, haven't they?
2.
Yeah. But I think
if your players are going to get banned for something that happens in a friendly, they're going to stop playing them.
Really agree, right?
I don't know what your take is. I don't know what your take is on that, Dave.
Yeah, you're probably right though. Obviously, there's a couple of players who's picked up a couple of match bans from the first couple of games. For me, I don't think Wigan didn't play enough pre-season friendlies. Probably like yourselves, we had one pre-season. We had a game against Newcastle. A lot of young lads played, and then we played Warrington. Most of the senior players played. Like yourselves, you had the 2. You had the against us, and then you had the Salford game on Friday just gone.
But if you look, but that's the case in point, Dave. I mean, I'm looking here now. I mean, obviously, the Warrington team was pretty much the second string. Oh, yes, Josh Charnley was in there, but with the exception of Charnley, Jason Clark, who you'd expect probably will get a bench. Yeah, Bullock. Yeah, but Bullock and Charnley and probably Jason Clark. You'd expect them to be in and around the squad for the first game of the season. And then you looked at, the Red Devils, who played a few extra actually. They actually played quite a few of their first string. But then if you look at Leeds played Hunslet. And you look down the Leeds, other than Jack Sinfield, we wouldn't expect him to start at the weekend, but pretty much it was a second string. Missed opportunity again. And you're not telling me that Richard Agar and Darryl Powell didn't have that exactly the thought that you've got, Greg. Why would I play my best players in this friendly, the last one before the season starts, when exactly what's happened to Austin? It's just it's odd, isn't it?
And again, it's shooting the game in the foot. The marketing, as you say, is around Blake Austin and playing Warrington. The first game,
brothers collide.
Brothers
collide. Yeah. Missed opportunities.
Ashton Sims playing Magic Weekend in a thought up, so they ban him for Magic Weekend. Stop it.
Yeah, they need to get it. No, I agree.
Sorry, I got a little bit angry there. I do apologise.
We're getting angry. What's your thoughts, Dave? Are you with us on that one?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. On them ones.
Well, we'll say hello to a few people. Mark Preece's back. Ian Potter's back. Barry Williams. Hello, Barry. Barry's a Wakefield fan. Alan Holroyd, Martin Baker, and Fenton Shaw. A couple of new names there, Greg, that have dialed in. So great to have the boys along. Right. Just get your take on the predictions then in terms of how the season's going to end. Just in case you missed it last week, Dave, this was my prediction of how the league table will finish. So I'll just show you mine. So Toulouse bottom, then Wakefield, Salford, Hull FC contentious, then the Giants, KR, Cass at 6, Wigan at 5th. I'll come back to that one. Rhinos at 4th, Wolves at 3rd, Dragons at 2nd, and Saints 1st. Greg also limped in. Few differences between us both. This was Greg's table, so no real change, no major differences down at the bottom. Hull above Huddersfield, Cass miss out to KR. Then he's got Warrington at 5th, Wigan 4th, Catalan 3rd, Leeds 2nd, which I thought was a bit of a shout, and we both agreed Saints. What's your thoughts, Dave? How do you see it? Start bottom to top. What would you expect? Yeah.
I'm going with Toulouse. I think a lot of people are backing them to go down this season.
Yeah.
Then I've gone with Wakefield.
Yeah.
I just don't think they've bought in players like other teams have. I've gone with Cass. I know quite a few Cass fans. I know. Huddersfield. Then into Salford, And then I'd say these next couple of teams up, I think it was tight for me. I've gone with OKR. I think I'll get a few shouts on that one, and I think I'm upset the fans. I definitely saw with putting All FC above them.
So you've got All FC 6?
6, yeah. So I'll just
these
put
are brave shouts. These
Castleford
11th, Hull FC 6. These are shouts.
Wakefield were 11th.
Cass 10th.
Yeah, Cass.
Salford above Cass. Oh, that's a shout.
Yeah.
Go on, lad.
That's an interesting one. That
it is, isn't it?
Yeah. And then obviously now into the top 6. OKR fans not going to be happy on this. I think All FC will just pick them to that
right
final position.
Pleased if that's the case.
He will. Yeah, he'll be very pleased.
Yeah. Obviously, that's depending on if he can keep Luke Gale and is it Josh Reynolds fit?
Yeah.
Obviously, he had an injury. Not his best season last year with 3 injuries. And then I've got in 5th, gone to Wigan.
Really?
Same as me.
Yeah. I think obviously like back in the last season we had a bad start. We had a good start to the season, but I think a lot of teams around us were in the straps. And then whenever obviously teams come into it, Wigan just slid off. A lot of people have written us off this season, which I think is rightly so after back end of last season. So yeah, I've got put us into 5th.
You are a Wigan fan, aren't you, Dave? You are.
Yes, definitely. But I don't want people to think I'm biased.
Nobody thinks that now.
I'm giving up. I put Wigan 4th. I'm going home.
If it was me, I'd be top at league. We win anything and nobody win anything ever. But yeah, true honest. That's honest. Obviously, I've gone with what your boys Warrington in 4th. Leeds 3rd. I think they'll have a good season this year. And then this one was tight. At one point I had my second at first, and obviously the other way around. My second at first and my first at second. But I've gone with St Helens to finish second.
Oh, you had to be, did it? Had to be. There's no way a Wigan fan was doing it, could you?
No. And then Catalan Dragons to finish the top at league. I think they'll. Yeah.
He got it in early there, didn't he? I'm going to put Wigan at 5th because I'm not biased. Saint second.
I just think Catalans will have a bit too much again this season. I think they've obviously lost. They've lost Jim and Maloney, didn't they? But they've signed class again in Mitchell Pearce, and not brought in obviously Dylan Napper as well, and Tyrone May as well. So Tyrone May's just won an NRL Grand Final as well.
He's a player, mate. He's a player.
Yeah.
Box office. He's box office, mate. He is.
The reason I put Catalan down at 3rd is I think they might need a season to bed in.
Yeah, he could be right though.
Well, I wouldn't argue. I wouldn't be surprised if it finished 1st or 2nd. I maybe Catalan's year to finish top is next year.
Well, let's get into that. Hold that thought. Let's get into it, mate. Let's get into it. So, before we get into each game, just because I might not be able to do this next year, let's remind ourselves how the Prediction League finished in 2021. So, as you can see, I had the good fortune of just topping that one. Then it was the Super League Raw fans who actually came romping in at the death. Actually, I think Greg was in comfortable second with about 4 or 5 rounds to go.
Why am I Warrington Wolves and not me?
I don't know. Just put actually, that could have been a joke, actually, couldn't it? But no, it's a complete accident. But actually, let's just take it as a bit of tongue-in-cheek humour. So Greg was 3rd at 205. So that's how it was. So just to remind people, every week we're going to do predictions. We want somebody from the Super League Raw Fans Forum to volunteer to come on and do the predictions. David is, of course, a Wigan fan. He's our guest tonight, so he's going to, on behalf of the Fans Forum, at the end of each game, and we've looked at it in detail, Dave's going to give us the team he expects to win and by what margin. The margins will remain what they were last year: 0-8, 9-17, or 18+. 2 points for getting the right team, 5 points getting the right team and the right score. That's how the prediction league is done. So let's, without further ado, jump straight in. Oh, it's like Christmas. Here we go. Round number 1. These are the games. St Helens kick off the season Thursday night against last year's league leaders, the Catalan Dragons. Hull KR will be hosting Wigan Warriors on Friday night. Then it's the Channel 4 game, Leeds Rhinos hosting the Warrington Wolves. Saturday night on Sky sees Toulouse dip their toe in the Super League water as they take on the Huddersfield Giants. The only 2 games not being shown this weekend, Castleford Tigers taking on the Salford Red Devils and Wakefield Trinity taking on Hull FC. So let's quickly go straight into the first of those games. The teams, the squads have been announced. Tail of the tape last year was pretty much honours even. The Dragons was the Dragons winning the opening game that the two had in France, 2016. Saints absolutely trouncing the Dragons at Totally Wicked 34-12. Then that tremendous game at Magic Weekend. The Dragons come back 31-30 in overtime. And then Dragons, of course, losing out in the grand final by 12-10. Looking at the squads, Saints pretty much full strength with the exception of Regan Grace. He's, of course, not there. Apart from that, in fine fettle going into this game. And in terms of Castleford, again, good news. Arthur Morg not in the squad, but of course Sam Tompkins we'd expect at fullback anyway. And the only other real absentee for the Dragons going into this game is probably Julian Brusquet, who is also out going into this game. And the good thing from a neutral's perspective, as in all of our perspectives, is we should see 2 exceptional teams going head-to-head on Thursday night. And what a way to kick off the new season. Who wants to go first?
Go on, David, I'll let you.
Yes, I think the opening round of all games are really good games, but I think this and probably the Warrington and Leeds as a standout game. But yeah, I'm hoping both teams batter each other to a point where we get a good few injuries.
That's not very sporty. Yeah. Hey, he's woke up here, Greg. He's woke up now. I
can't believe you're a Wigan fan.
Shocking.
No, but yeah, I think it's gonna be a classic, innit? I definitely can't wait for it to get started. And obviously, this game's going to be a standout for the opening round.
Agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree. I mean, we've actually got predictions coming in, actually, which is good to see on the live feed. Our friend Mr. Cartledge is on, Greg. He's not told us a scoreline, but he's going to Toulouse, Saints, Leeds, Wakefield, Castleford and Wigan, which is where he's going. Talking points on this, I'll pass to you now, Greg. Couple of things for me, might be worth a little chat. Obviously, Battle of the Packs, I think we'd all probably agree. These are probably the 2 best packs in the league, albeit I think Wigan have strengthened, say, off the back of that Stephen Ratford game.
Leeds have got a good
pack. And Leeds have got a good pack as well. But I think these 2 probably are the best in the league. Fascinating tussle between Tompkins and Wellesby. Wellesby, of course, going back to full back. The understudy maybe for England. Wellesby has got every chance of being England's number 1 for me. He really has, and that's going to be interesting as the season goes on. And then the other thing, Greg, that you just might want to consider is recruitment. You know, we've talked, you've already hinted at it. Dave, Tyrone May, Dylan Napper, Mitchell Pearce coming in and of course for Catalan, and of course for Saints, a party is in there. Sirenen is in there, and of course Joey Lussick back as well, hooker. So we talk about who's strengthened, who's not. How could that play a factor as the season goes on? So where do you want to kick off with those 3 things to talk about, Greg? What's your thoughts?
I'm going with the halfbacks.
Go on, mate.
Because Dodd has been put in at halfback with Lomax. Now I thought Wellesley might have maybe got that berth, and then you've got the 2 Catalan halfbacks experienced, and that's where I think the battle Drinkwater and what's his name again?
Mitchell Pearce.
Sorry, his name escaped me. Drinkwater and Pearce, and I think it's important that I think the Pearce and Dodds battle will be the one. Dodds had he's had a couple of seasons now coming from the bench at hooker, and Pearce, it's going to be his first Super League game. So I think the key is with them 2, who settles better the first. And and then behind the packs, I think these two packs are fairly evenly matched. If Catalan can cut out the Walmsley factor and hit him hard early on, a bit like Warrington did at Wembley in 2019, as I'll keep saying till the day I die. You hit Walmsley hard and keep hitting him hard, you tire him out. That's the key to this one, is the two scrum halves and how well they deal with Walmsley. Because other than Walmsley, I think the packs are fairly well matched. And it'd be interesting to see how the two forwards that Catalan brought in, actually, how they settle as well.
Yeah.
It's going to be fairly cold on Thursday night.
Yeah. Welcome to Super League, especially for the Aussies. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's going to be a cold one. But that's where I see the battle. How Pearce plays against Dodd and how the Catalan pack handles Walmsley is the key to me.
Well, welcome to Jez Dean, Kevin Preston. Get involved in the chat, boys. What's your predictions for this week? Dave, on that point around the packs, me and Greg last year, we try our best. I certainly do. I don't know about Greg, to be as neutral as possible at times on this show. But we waxed lyrically last year over Jack Welsby. Absolutely waxed lyrically about him. As a Wigan supporter, and I know it's going to stick in your throat a little bit, how do you rate young Mr. Welsby?
I've done a little prediction on my over my YouTube channel of players to watch out, and he's definitely one who's going to be sticking out there for, like you say as well. He'll be around that England team at come back end of the season as well. Kills me to say he scored that try against us. It still stings now.
It's hurting you, this, isn't it? It's absolutely killing you.
It is. Yeah. It's absolutely hurting him. As Liz Pickering arrives to watch us. Hello, Liz. Welcome back. Great to have you along. The boys are natural, absolute natural. What a player. For me, last year there was, young man of steel. It was a one-horse race, wasn't it? Last year. Definitely. I don't think it will be this year, but I think last year it was a one-horse race.
And I have done a prediction for my young player this season, and he is in the Saints team. I've gone with Lewis Dodd.
Are you gone Doddy?
All right. Okay.
There's a couple of players as well who have backed as well for having good season this year as well. Obviously, Connor Wrench for you, men.
Played well against you the other night.
He was the best player for us that night.
I think both your centres, him and Peter Matocha, were the two best. Two good players who stood out for you, man. But obviously Jack Welsby.
I tell you, I think Welsby this year might who knows, anything can happen, but I think he'll probably have his eyes on the main one this year. Forget definitely. Young Malasteel. He could be also in contention for the big prize as well. Right. Look, this should just be an absolute barnstorming start. Personally speaking, I've already got the beers chilling. The kids are going to be put to bed at 6 o'clock when they get in from school. It's game on, isn't it? Right then, boys. We're predicting. Here we go.
This is it, boys.
Of the year. Dave, as our guest, you can lead off. Dave, who's going to win and by what margin?
Obviously, I've backed Catalan to finish top at League, but no, I'm backing Saints to win this one.
Go on, lad.
I've gone with a close one by 4 points.
You're going 0-8. Right, Greg, over to you.
As I say, it's a battle of the halfbacks. Mitchell Pearce is class. Dodds is going to be as Dave said, he's going to be a good player. Catalans should be able to deal with the Saints pack. So I'm going Saints 9-17.
Oh, you've got a bit of a margin there.
I think the pivot. I think Catalan will take a little bit of time to settle into, or the new players will take a little time to settle in. And then if this was in the south of France, I'd have gone for completely the other result. But I think the weather might play a part in this one.
Yeah.
Saints 9-17.
Okay. Well, I'll be honest, as though, if this was a bit later in the season and we were carrying points over, I might have gone Catalan. But actually, before you even said out, I do think Saints. And I think it will be 1917. I've gone the same. I think, don't know why. I just think home turf advantage. I think the thing about Saints is, and I think the advantage for Saints is there has been no change in the halfbacks. So it's pretty much, I just think that Saints should hit the ground running. It might take Catalan a bit of time to warm up. But that said, Catalan will want to show the world that last year was no fluke and that they're good to go again.
I think it's going to be close for 60 minutes and Saints will probably just run away with it in the last 20. It is my prediction.
Well, we shall but see. Right, let's see. I wonder who our guest is going to be predicting is going to be winning this one. So, game number two. Interesting though. Last year, by my reckoning, they only played each other twice, and in both games, you'd have to say, margin-wise, a pretty comfortable victory for the Robins. A 2-score victory in both games. Obviously, Hull KR not had many changes this year. Wigan have had a couple of changes, big changes. Of course, Cade Cuss coming in, Mago as well is in there as well. As you're the Wigan fan, as you're the guest, over to you, Dave. What's your thoughts for your team going into this one?
A lot of people have obviously written us off, but obviously.
What's your thoughts on your signings, Dave? What's your thoughts?
I like Paddy Mayo. He looked so good against you, man. But it was in a pre-season friendly. Yeah. We brought back Ian Thornley. He looked good. Played well. He's good at. I like him when he's taking the ball back from, returning the ball and that. He's a strong runner and that. So he knows the Wigan way.
I was surprised when he let him go.
Yeah.
I was very surprised with that.
And he's got around to a couple of teams on his since. So, but yeah. And then obviously Cade Cuss is coming. We didn't see too much of him against you, man. Obviously, our kicking game looked a lot better. I'm sick of watching us fifth tackle, just kick it to the corner and hope for the best. And obviously, I was sick of seeing us just kick it straight down the fullback's foot for every game. So obviously, he's going to bring a kicking game in for us. So hopefully, it's good signs. But we'll obviously just go see how we go along the season. So getting to my predictions, obviously, I'm going to back Wigan to win. No surprise there. But I think this is going to be a close game, and I think we're going to win by 2 points.
2 points. You're going 0-8.
Yeah, obviously, all KR. Tony Smith's got him. He's got a good team around him there now. Obviously, they brought in Locke and Coots, as well as having obviously is it Jordan Abdul from last season?
Yeah,
quality last year.
He had a back end of last season, and his kicking game's unreal as well. Talking about kicking, and obviously you got Ryan Hall and Kenny Dow there on that, and then on them centre and winger partners, and then Pack's not too bad as well. Yeah, the Pack's not bad. Yeah, the Pack's not too bad. So yeah, I think they'll obviously. I think it'll be a tight game. I just think we're going to just pick it at the end with 2 points.
Right. Well, I'll take the lead, Greg, on this one, and I'll come to you. I'll be honest with you. As per my league standings, me and Greg had a little chat about this, I think, last week. I didn't, for whatever reason, think we're going to be up to much, hence me putting them to fifth. And I know it's only a testimonial. And actually, I thought that Sean Wayne was a bit naughty because he basically come out this week and said he didn't see anything in Warrington. You were there, Dave. I mean, that kick that bounced kindly for Wigan, if that goes the other way, you take that kick out of the game, there was very little in it. Very, very little in it. And I thought that Sean Wayne was a bit naughty there. In the same way that my view here is, as a Warrington fan, it didn't give me too much optimism. However, I'm not worried either. It was a friendly. That said, if I'm a Wigan fan, and as somebody watching Wigan that night, I'd be very happy. I mean, last year again, me and Greg, we think there's a lot of quality. I'm a big Kai Pearce-Paul fan. I think he's going to be a great player. I thought Byrne was outstanding in the game, in Stephen Ratchford's game. Partington, Smithies, these young kids. Obviously, you brought in the likes of Mago and Ellis, but of course Singleton's still there as well. So the pack's certainly improved year on year. Bevan French coming back, it's like getting a new player. Cade Cust, as you say, not seen an awful lot of him. Would be hard to judge him. Lulawai, year older, has he got enough in the tank? Smith, probably a good thing. He won't be playing every game here and there. Breers will be good for Smith. I think Breers will be very, very good for Smith. But I was really, really impressed by Wigan. Really impressed by Wigan. And I'll be honest, if I didn't have conviction, if I had no integrity, I might have swapped Warrington and Wigan around. But I decided to, no, that's where I saw it at the beginning. I'll hold my nerve. But I think Wigan could have a great season. Mago, mate, was absolute. That pass for the last try was out of this world. And every time he took it up, he was taking 2 or 3 Warrington defenders out the game. And it was, so I'm going Wigan. And I actually think, and again, I can only base it on what I saw. I'm going 9-17 Wigan. I think Wigan are going to hit the ground running based on what I saw.
I hope so.
Over to you, Greg. Your thoughts?
Well, you're both saying Wigan, yeah?
You're going KR. Go on, lad.
Well, we've got a great coach in Tony Smith.
Yeah.
We've got a settled pack. I'm a big fan of Kane Lynette, as you know.
Yeah.
Great halfbacks. Potentially great halfbacks. Mm-hmm. The addition of Lachlan Coote is solid. You've got to be fearful because he can have the odd. He does have a tendency to make a mistake at crucial times. Lachlan Coote. Well, I'm going for Wigan, and I'm going for Wigan by 18 plus, and I'll tell you why.
Oh, mate.
Because you've got Bevan French back, and you've also got Jay Field back, who was like quicksilver for that try. Nobody laid a finger on him. If you can keep him fit, Bevan French fit, with those new starters brought in the pack, I think, and if Cade Cust starts to fire, my only kind of, I've got a bit of kind of knowledge on Wigan through a kind of extended family member, and they're very, very excited at Cade Cust.
Right.
Very excited by him. And I think if he clicks with Smith or with Lulawai, I think it's probably going to be Smith. I think that's why I was tempted to put you higher than 4th, but I thought the fact you got a new coach, again, like Catalan, it might be next year when you fire. But I think if you keep Jay Field and Bevan French fit, you've got players there that nobody's going to lay a finger on if they've got a yard of space. So I think Wigan by 18 plus in that game.
Big prediction.
I think they'll surprise a lot of people this season, and that hurts.
I agree.
It hurts me to say this, but I think you'll surprise a lot of people this season, and I think you'll surprise Hull KR on Friday night.
Yeah.
They've already. I'll be honest with you, mate. They've already surprised me in that Stephen Ratchford game. I thought the kids last year, and like you, I agree. I actually thought that Wigan would come stronger next year because of the likes of the Smithies and the Shorrocks and the Partingtons and all, an extra year. But having seen them against us and having seen the addition, I mean, Mago ran out, and you're saying Cade Cust is getting big raps at Wigan, which if is the case can only make things better for him. If I'm a Wigan fan, if I'm going to be neutral, and I look at what I saw, and it wasn't even the season, I think Wigan, like Leeds last year, nobody could have predicted, or Hull KR, nobody would have predicted Leeds and Hull KR doing what they did last year. Certainly Hull KR. And I think Wigan, a lot in every prediction league I've seen, whether it be Gary Schofield, whether it be League Express, whether it be Sadler, whoever, nobody is giving Wigan a finish in most cases higher than fourth.
And that's when they're at the most dangerous.
Yeah.
You probably agree,
Yeah.
Dave. You're right.
Yeah.
You know, you're right. Eddie Hemmings used to say, right, Saint Sophie peril. It's the same with Wigan.
Yeah, it is.
You know, when you played those 2 grand finals against us, nobody gave you a chance, but I knew you were going to win them because it's in your DNA as a club. You get to finals like that, and it's very, very rare that Wigan lose a final.
Agreed, mate.
Do you agree, Dave? Yeah. It's like a bit like United in football, and Liverpool a few years ago in football. It was actually in the DNA of the club that they won the big games. Very, very rarely messed up. Yeah. I think you probably, maybe not this season, but I think next season you could get back to that if you build again next season.
I think
so.
Yeah. I think you're in for a good year, Dave.
Diplomatic there, Dave. You're inside, you're going.
Yeah,
yes.
I think you're in for a good year, Dave. I really do. Right, we then go to the game on Saturday, Channel 4. Can't wait for this one. Last year, Rhinos turning the wire over at the Halliwell, and of course that last-minute drop goal by George Williams. I think it was one of his first games for the wire. 27-26, a great game. Talking points in this one, probably the spine of the teams. I think is where I saw this one. As a neutral, Dave, how do you see? Talk us through what your thoughts are of Leeds and Warrington going into the new season, and how you see the game panning out.
Obviously, Leeds have signed some big players, haven't they? They've gone into the transfer market, and rightly so. I think they needed a couple of players to get them back to where they. Obviously, we all know where they've all come from, Leeds.
Yeah.
In the Super League area. Obviously, Warrington, I seen them the other week. You've got new coaching staff in there. Obviously, Daryl Powell has come in. But obviously, I think Blake Austin's going to be a big loss to the game. Had he been playing, I think, at a back Leeds to maybe win that one. But I'm going with you boys to win. Obviously, you've probably got the 2 England halfbacks for end of the year in Williams and Widdop. Obviously, Williams, Wigan lad. It did kill me seeing him come to Human, but it's one of them. He won what he can at Wigan. He wants to go and test himself, so obviously he wants to test himself in Australia. It didn't work out there, but he's come back. He wants to go and win stuff for Human, so I'll let him be. Obviously, a lot of Wigan fans do get on his back about it, but it's one of them things, isn't it? He's lost. You look across most teams in the Super League. There's a Wiganer in them in most teams. You look at it.
There's a few in our team, Dave. We've got luck as well.
And to be fair, in most stadiums, there's a pie, Dave, and all.
Yeah, true.
Oh, that was cruel.
True,
supposed to be playing nice, Dave.
Yeah, but yeah, obviously I'm going to back you men to win. I'm going to back you by 8 points.
Fair enough, mate.
To win them. I think they're going to be. I think we'll have. Obviously, the first 3 I've done there, I've gone with close games.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and I hope you're right. I think, and you know, there's a part of me. Well, one, I hope you're right about Warrington. But in terms of the score lines you'd give, I think if all of those games were within 8, we're in for some special games. And
definitely.
Because we'd rather. I mean, same with you as a Wigan fan, as a Warrington fan, and any other fan, you'd rather win a tight game than a blowout. And I think if they're all 0-8, I think we'd all be delighted with that. And like you, before the Austin, based on the fact that Leeds, no change of coach, same spine as same spine. Obviously, 2 Ockers last year, fantastic. The fact that Caesar and Austin have had the entire pre-season together, which of course Williams haven't, and they played together.
Obviously played together as well, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Canberra. Is it Canberra? It was Canberra, wasn't it?
Yeah, Canberra Raiders, yeah.
Yeah, it was Canberra.
I do think. Go on.
No, go on, man.
I do think. Oh, go on. Obviously, this season, I think where Warrington are going to struggle is obviously you've lost Chris Hill, you've lost that experience there. I know you brought Joe Bullock in.
Yeah, but it's reduced the penalty count, that, mate. So there's swings and roundabouts there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I just think that a bit of experience in that.
No, I agree. And that's going to be, and we've said this, I think, from a Warrington perspective, and it was interesting because when Darryl Powell, Warrington, I'm sure Wigan's done something similar. Warrington held like a meeting with a selection of fans, like a Q&A session. And one of the questions that was posed to Powell was that, is your pack big enough? He seems to think that it is. I think time will tell. I think based on the players that we've got to go to the edges. We've got to go for speed. I think that's key this season. But yeah, like you, as far as this Leeds game, I think it should be a cracking game. Had Austin been playing, because of the entire close season, the two of them together, working on combinations, etc., out of all day. Plus, let's be fair, they had a great win against Hull FC as well in pre-season. I'd have gone Leeds, but I think the fact that Austin has been ripped out at the last minute, I'm guessing it's going to be Walker to fullback and Marlow at the halves. What do you think, Red?
I think very well could be. But again, that's still dangerous because Myler's an ex-Warrington, so he'll have some idea, although, it's a good 5 or 6 years since he last played for us.
Yeah.
The one thing I do know is this game needs to be a good game.
Yeah. It's going to be a good crowd.
It's going to be a great crowd. Fair play again. You were saying about Warrington's marketing, Dave, earlier on. £1 for a seat on a coach, and I bet they're taking about 10, 12 coaches down there to Headingley on Saturday. So the get wet through end should be full.
Brilliant.
Use a polite version of it there. This game needs to be an end-to-end, ding-dong, dramatic comeback game.
27-26.
It does.
I will say a drop goal winner.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It needs to be a dramatic, controversial, last-minute try, drop goal, penalty. It doesn't need to be a 2-0 or a 3-0.
Well, last night in the Championship, the two teams, Lee and Featherstone, go head-to-head.
Was it 8-4 or something?
No, and the rest. I mean, it's like 28 points to 6 or something.
Yeah,
they blew him away. I say that though, mate. It was a proper old-fashioned game, rugby league. Did you see the pitch?
That pitch.
It was a quagmire, absolute old school. If the Featherstone get promoted, they need to do something about the drainage. That's for certain. Sorry, mate.
Let's face it, though. It's not stopped raining for 6 years in York.
No, it's not.
It does need to be and the Austin factor is a big one.
Yeah, I agree.
It really is. My fear is that the Leeds pack, as a Warrington fan, my fear is the Leeds pack is going to be too good for the Warrington pack, and no matter how much Williams and Widdop are the class partnership that they could be, I'm going to go against you two guys, and I'm going to go 0-8 Leeds. That hurts me as a Warrington fan.
Go on.
0-8 Leeds. See, this is why I finished bottom, because I'm willing to take risks.
Oh man, I can feel the hurt in that prediction.
And you know what? The sad thing is, I can see Warrington taking quite an early, healthy lead.
Well, who knows, mate? And then
it's going to be back and snatching it in the last few minutes, which is great for TV.
Yeah.
Which is great for terrestrial TV. Yeah. And you know what? I hope I'm so wrong, and I hope I'm bottom of the league because
so do I, mate. So do I. Well, actually, I'm going with Dave. I agree with Dave. I'm going 0-8 on that one. So 2-0-8 and a lead 0-8. Right, we now move to this one. Obviously, we've already had a quick look at Toulouse's. The good news for Toulouse. Toulouse against the Giants. Toulouse pretty much an unknown quantity. Unbeaten, of course, in the Championship last year, but that means nothing. They're coming up to a higher standard of rugby league now. It's going to be interesting. But as I put there in terms of talking points here, we said a minute ago that you mentioned Dave Lewis Dodd, potential young man of steel, massive expectation around Will Price. Even, of course, got himself a little bit of a show on the advert for the season, so he's really being pushed front and centre for the Giants. But like I've said there, this is a must-win for Huddersfield Giants. I'd expect a decent crowd at Toulouse. I'd expect that if the Catalan game and they won the Championship's anything to go by, that the Toulouse fans are going to come out in numbers for the opening game in Super League. if you're Toulouse, like I said, this is a game you've got to target as your home. If you're not going to beat the likes of, and I'm not being disparaging here, but the teams that have traditionally finished further down the table, if you're not going to compete with the likes of Salford, Wakefield, Huddersfield going into a new season, then the chances are you're going down. Massive, massive game for Toulouse. From a Huddersfield perspective, they lose this. I think they go to Hull KR the week after, they're home to Hull KR the week after. They lose this, that's going to send shockwaves. And in the same spirit as we said about Brett Hodgson, Ian Watson's right up against it right going into this season. He's not going to be given another free rein like he was last year. So yeah, this is an interesting one for me in terms of how it plays out. I may as well do the prediction and then shut up. That all said, I am going to back Huddersfield. But I'm going to say it's going to be I'm going to go 9-17. 9-17 Huddersfield. I do think that the class and the strength in depth that they've got, it's going to be too much for. I think it's going to be a shock. I think it's going to be a shock really for Toulouse in terms of the jumping standard, and 9-17 Huddersfield. Right. Just for change and variety, Greg, what's your thoughts? We'll go a different way.
I think that Toulouse are going to come out all guns firing.
Yeah.
I think they're going to rock Huddersfield in the first 20 or so minutes. I think they're probably going to take the lead.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to give the fans a lot of hope. But I do think that at the end of the day, I think Huddersfield, with the experience they've got of that kind of being in Super League for so many years, I think they're going to probably win it by 9-17 Huddersfield. I think Toulouse will, come out and give everything for the first half at least, and could quite possibly go in at half time with a relatively healthy lead. But I think, Huddersfield will dig in and will come back and win comfortably in the end. That's my thoughts anyway.
Fair enough. What's your thoughts, Dave?
Pretty much similar, same to both of you guys. I think the Toulouse will be in for a big shock. I just think the pedigree, Super League pedigree will just be a bit too much for them this season. I think they'll go on a bit of a same path as Leeds did last season, where they didn't win. I think they only won 2 games. Leeds did. Was it 2 games they won?
Yeah, the thing with Leeds last year, though, mate, was they were getting beat by 2 points, 4 points.
Yeah, they were competitive.
Yeah.
They were competitive for a long while.
Against you guys, Wigan, I think they were winning 18-0, weren't they, in that first game?
Twice they beat us.
Did.
Started well.
Well, if you remember, Greg, we did a bit of analysis. I think it was round 20, and we actually worked out that against the top 3 teams, the margin of defeat was less than 10. But for everybody else in the league, it was over 20. It was like, how does that happen? How could they be so competitive against the top teams and then just get blown apart by the rest? It was unbelievable.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you there, Dave. Carry on.
Indeed.
I just don't think they'll. I think they'll struggle this season. So I'm backing Huddersfield by 14 points though.
You're going to the same bracket as us now.
We're all 9-17.
Right, so that was a dead rubber then, isn't it, in terms of the predictions, Lee?
You could all be bottom with me next week.
Who knows? Absolutely. But no, and Will Price, I mean, looking forward to seeing him this season. Really looking forward to seeing him this season. Exciting that he's been given 1 as well. God.
Yeah. And I think he's the type of player that the likes of Wigan and maybe Saints and Leeds maybe have their eye.
Definitely.
I think every team will have their eye on him. Where he goes, I think probably Saints would probably, with a Price connection, will probably lead the charge on that one. But that said, they don't need him because they've got Wellesby. So, they probably want to put the salary cap in other places. Bevan French, if he goes at the end of the season.
Bradford, Warrington.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so be interesting to see. But yeah, I agree. It's going to be interesting to see where he lands. Right. Yeah. New coaches. Castleford Tigers, obviously, Lee Radford going in at Castleford. And, of course, Paul Rowley's now at Salford. Picture there of Ken Seo. Phenomenal season for Ken Seo at Salford last year in a struggling team. Last year, 2 very similar scorelines. Tigers, 28-18, 29-18. But yeah, 2 new teams, 2 new coaches. both will want. I mean, I can't believe where. In fact, actually, straight to Dave because he's got to be back in Salford here, putting Salford so high up the lead. Surely, this is a Salford win, Dave. Over to you.
Yeah, definitely. I've backed Salford this one. Obviously, they signed some good players. Obviously, they brought Brody Croft in, and then Mark's needs come back over there. So, only thing is, I do think they're a similar sort of player, but we'll see how they go as a partnership.
That's a good shout. Good shout.
But yeah, I'm backing Salford to 10 points. I think Castleford.
All these deep intakes of breath.
Yeah, I think. Well, obviously, where I've put Cass in the league this season, I think obviously they lost Powell, aren't they? Brought Lee Radford in. I think it's going to take them a little bit. They've still got two young halfbacks in Truman and Danny Richardson, aren't they, as well?
Truman on his day is a player.
Yeah, definitely is a really good player. But yeah, obviously they lost Oliver Holmes as well, didn't they? He's obviously gone over to UMen. That's a really good signing for UMen with that back line there. You've got obviously with Ben and with Jack as well.
Jack Hughes is out, isn't he? So
yeah,
won't play in that game. So Oliver Holmes at loose forward on Saturday.
Do you think? Or do you think they'll put Clark there?
Oh, they could put Jason Clark there, yeah.
Put Clark there. Sorry, Dave. We digress.
All right. Obviously, I just think if Paul McShane goes down for them, Castleford this season, they're really going to struggle. Yeah. He's their standout player in there for me.
Yeah. Agreed.
But yeah.
Good that he's been named captain. I think he deserves that.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I just can't see Cass doing overly too much this season, but I could be wrong.
I put him sixth, so there's no surprise that I'm backing Cass. I think Cass will win this. I think it'll be tight, 0-8. Like you though, I'm really interested in how Brody Croft goes for Salford, and they've got some good players there at Salford. Obviously, they brought Rowley. What's his name? The kid at fullback. Been here, there, and bloody everywhere. What's his name? God, his name. His name escapes me now. Oh, Braley. Got Braley at fullback, and Elijah Taylor's class on his day as well. But no, I'm gonna go with classy Cass. It might not be classy under Radford, but I'm gonna go classy Cass. I'm gonna go classy Cass by 0-8. Greg, what's your thoughts?
This for me is the hardest one to call in the rounds this week.
Okay, mate.
Castleford have got a lot to prove to the new coach. They've lost a lot of good players, but they've still got McShane. They've still got some decent players.
Right.
Salford have a lot of new players who might take a little bit of time to gel.
Yeah.
As we said with a couple of other teams, Catalan, that the weather might be a factor because at Castleford it's -10 in July, never mind in February. But I am going to go Salford 9-17.
It's a biggie that away from home.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going with Dave.
Salford have got potential this year. They're not going to crack the 6. But I think they've got potential to upset a few teams this season because they've made some good. Ryan Braley for me is a class player.
Yes, been around, Danny. Been around.
And so I'm going Salford 9-17.
Right. Well, we shall but see, and that brings us to the final game of round number 1 as Wakefield Trinity take on Hull FC. Last year it was on as even. Hull FC 2014 winners at home. Trinity, of course, back end of the season when Hull were in complete disarray. Very comfortable and surprising 44-12 in Willie Poachin's resurgent Wakefield Trinity. Mr. Poachin had the Midas touch, as we saw when he came in last year. Will that Midas touch go into round 1 of 2022? Will the injuries of Hull FC bite them firmly on their bum? Greg, what's your thoughts?
Again, it was another difficult one
Yeah.
Because I don't think, as Dave, I think Dave said earlier on, Wakefield haven't recruited as well as other teams around them have that are in that chasing pack.
Yeah.
I was interested to read a lot of comments on Twitter and social media by Wakefield fans who said the team looks so overweight. Mm-hmm. They don't look up. They don't look fit. They don't look up for it.
Yeah.
And yet Hull have got issues with injuries.
Yeah.
And I think that will be a factor. I think Wakefield could quite possibly. And I know I've got them finishing second bottom, Wakefield, and it could be the kick up the bum they need. The fans, criticise them as such, and the Hull FC injuries might be a factor. But I think Hull have just got enough in the tank, and I think 0-8 Hull.
Oh, lovely! You're backing Mr. Hodgson. What's your thoughts, Dave? Where are you going with this one?
I'm going to go a similar way. I just think, obviously, they're going to be without Jake Connor, probably arguably their best player.
Yeah, he's putting Shaw at fullback. He said, hasn't he?
Yeah,
which is
he's still a good player though, James Shaw. So that's his natural position as well. So he's not like he's going out of position. But yeah, I just think they'll have a little bit too much for Wakefield. Like I said at the beginning, I just don't think Wakefield have signed as well. I do like the look of Leno, the halfback at Wakefield.
Yeah, he played well last year.
Yeah, I think he was one of their better players last season for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think I think their pack is a little bit. It's going to be a bit too strong for Wakefield's pack. Yeah, I just think they'll just run away with it. 0-8 points.
We're going 0-8.
Yeah.
Righto, fair enough. Yeah, now Leno last, and the other lad's Miller, isn't it?
Miller, yeah. Wigan was. It was. Yeah, I think it may be.
Yeah.
Obviously, Miller was linked with Wigan a lot in the off season.
Jacob
before
Miller.
Before we signed.
Yeah,
Ged.
Yeah, Jacob Miller has the potential to be a world beater, and he just kind of fades in and out of games at times. He's kind of not. I mean, Wakefield fans may well, be jumping up and down at this point, but he doesn't command games as much as he should, in my opinion. He's got all the credentials to be a great Super League halfback, and he just I don't know what that is, but he kind of floats sometimes in and out of games. I'm sure Wakefield fans will be pointing out the errors in my ways on that one on social media, but that's my opinion of him. And I don't know, on his day, he can be genuinely unplayable.
Yeah.
I just don't think he does that consistently enough. I'd like to hear what Wakefield fans think about that, to be honest.
No, absolutely. Yeah, well, maybe we get a Wakefield fan on next week. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I have to leave the country.
That'd be nice.
What, me leaving the country or a Wakefield fan on?
No, a Wakefield fan on. I think Infinite saying, and do you know what? Hull are normally great starters and fade. So I sort of see where you're going with this. However, don't know why. I'm going to go Wakefield. I'm going to take a punt on this one. And I'm not just going to say, I'm going to say quite comfy 9-17 as well. I don't know why. Just have a little feeling that Wakefield might just have a good start to the season. Poaching, obviously, great at the back end of last year. I don't know what it is with all. I still have concerns over the culture of the club. And I think that the chairman's comments this week can do nothing to unify that club at all. I think that you don't start a new season and as a chairman come out and start. I mean, for me, whoop-de-doo, the 3,000 down. It doesn't need to be talked about. Certainly this close to a new season. So I just think, and we saw what the Hull players did with Bradford as well. I just think he's almost giving his players a free pass here. So I'm going to go Wakefield 9-17, and we'll see where we get with that.
Yeah. Dave, again, those last two games are quite possibly the most difficult to call
Yeah, I agree.
You know, maybe with Catalan Saints, but
Yeah.
those last two games, because we don't know how those four teams are going to perform.
No.
You know what you're going to get with Catalan and Saints. You know what you're going to get with Leeds and Warrington. You know what you're going to get with Wigan and Hull KR.
Yeah.
Toulouse, an unknown quantity.
Yeah, no,
with Salford.
Well, they used to, yeah. I think Toulouse is going to be interested in it. I mean, we're going to know a lot more about Toulouse on Saturday night.
I tell you what, if Toulouse win that does put the cat amongst the pigeons. If Toulouse win that game,
Agreed.
Don't think they will, but you know,
yeah. But the good news, but the headline has got to be this is going to be a good year for Salford. So I weren't expecting that tonight, but you know, Dave's nipped in there and he's backing Salford. So
there's always a team. There's always a team that takes everybody by surprise. Yeah. Salford did it. Hull KR did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, Warrington never do it.
No. It's going to be interesting. Right. So that brings us almost to a close. Look, doesn't need us to say it. Saints Catalan, massive game Thursday night. Get on that one. Then of course we've got Hull KR taking on Dave's team, the Wigan Warriors, on Friday night. Get all over that one as well. Then it's Leeds Warrington Saturday at 12:30. Toulouse Huddersfield 8 o'clock kickoff on Sky. Betfred Challenge Cup 3rd round. If you like your rugby league, then on Saturday at 2:30. They're showing that free of charge on the Sportsman YouTube channel. So always, I've got nothing better to do. Watch a game of rugby league. Lock Lane against Rochdale Hornets, that one. And then on the R-League app, for those who've got that, the Royal Navy taking on York Acorn at 4 o'clock. That'll probably be picked. That takes you nicely then into the Toulouse Huddersfield game. You can have a full day of rugby league on Saturday if you choose to do that. And then on Sunday, I think Hunslet Siddell might be on the BBC.
I think it's like BBC 3 or BBC 4.
Like that, yeah. That's Challenge Cup 3rd round. And then, of course, for those who've got Premier Sports, Lee Centurions on against the Bradford Bulls. Deck Patterns, Bradford Bulls, of course.
That has got potential to be a real good game.
Yeah, Bradford, 1 win from 2 going into this one. Lee also now 1 win from 2. So both on 2 points going into that game. Be interesting to see how that is. Dave, can't thank you enough. Fantastic to see you. I wish you well in the season that is rugby league. Who knows, as the season progresses, we might get you on again as the season goes on.
You're more than welcome. More than welcome
definitely.
to come back.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys, for letting me on.
Yeah, we'll see you at the grand final.
Maybe. Or the Halliwell Jones.
We know how that's going to happen now, don't we?
Or at Tottenham Hotspur's ground, mate. You never know.
Yeah, that's another one, isn't it? It's another one. But no, Dave, really, really good to have you along, mate. And thanks very much indeed. Good wishes for the season ahead. I think you're going to have a good year. I think you're going to have a good year, mate. Right, that's us. We will be back this time next week, 8 o'clock Tuesday, where we will be looking back at round number 1. We will be previewing round number 2, looking at all the rugby news. And of course, we'll be giving our take on the first show of Channel 4, Play God. It is a belter. But from Greg, as always, Dave, thanks again. Everybody, enjoy your rugby league, and we'll see you again soon.
See you next week, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you much.